everybody, and welcome to this video. In this video, I'm going to be talking about platoon and squad structure. They are pretty much exactly the same. It's just depending on the size. So I'm gonna pull up my little corny demonstrations. All right, so first thing I'm gonna talk about is a platoon. This is a platoon. A platoon is made up of 4, 8, 12, 13, 14 people, which is the drillers, which is this chunk right here. These are just 12 average cadets. We have the commander, which leads the platoon, and then we have the guidon right here, who guides the platoon. We're going to start with the commander. Commander is a word that you've seen and heard thrown around everywhere. A commander is basically the leader of this group. So, for example, I am the unarmed ex-commander. I plan what happens at practices. I check and see how my platoon is doing, what things we're doing wrong, what things we're doing well. I am in charge of my platoon. For another example, Cadet Islam, she is the unarmed standard commander. She is in charge of the unarmed standard practices, and she is in charge of how they are doing, how good they're doing, how things that they need improvements on, what they can be doing better. She's one of the best commanders that we have, so she is a very good reference in looking at what a commander is supposed to be. The commander sets the pace for the platoon. They call cadence. They are responsible for the commands that are being called. When we have a normal drill card, the commander calls those commands and executes them in a way that the rest of the platoon can mimic and hopefully get an amazing score. The commander has to be very, very well versed in drill to be able to call commands as they are doing them. Okay? So that's the commander. The commander is a very important part of the platoon structure. Next up, we have the guidon. The guidon is the person who guides the platoon. They oftentimes are carrying a guidon, which is essentially a flag on a pole. It is actually a really cool job that I wished I would have picked up, but based on how small our company is and how many people choose to participate, usually we only have about 2 guidons. We have one for NS1s, and we have usually 1 or 2 for upperclassmen. And they are usually the most well-versed in guidon. They usually do guidon the most compared to active drill. Because guidon, their steps are quite a bit different from the platoon structure. Okay, so if you are interested in guidon, first you do need to have a basis in drill, but then you have to be prepared to throw a good majority of that out the window and see their steps. For columns, instead of it being so straightforward, they have to do a bunch of back-to-back steps, just for example. So that's something to consider. Also, I don't know everything about guidon. I'm not very well versed in it. So if I said some information incorrectly, please feel free to correct me in the comments to make sure that everyone else does get the proper information. Now we're moving on to what I believe is the most important part of a platoon, which is these 12 people right here. This is the meat and potatoes of the platoon. These are the drillers. These are the people that listen to what the commanders say, and they perform it. So for starters, we're going to go off of the different names for the different parts of a platoon. Okay? Up here, we have first squad, second squad, and third squad. Typically, in first squad, you have these shorter people. Your lady over here is only 5 foot, so she has a great spot up in first squad. I've never ventured in any other squads. We have a second squad for the more so intermediate height people, and then the third squad is reserved for the tallest people. Okay? The squad leaders are right here. The squad leaders are the leaders of the set squads. I am first squad leader for unarmed standard as of right now. And these people, they work with the commander in setting the pace for the rest of the platoon and acting on their commands. So they are oftentimes the first person to act on different commands. They speak at certain times during the card, and they are usually the best performing drillers. So if we go this way, these lines are called squads. So like I said, first squad, second squad, and third squad. And if we go this way, they're referred to as ranks. So this is first rank, this is second rank, this is third rank, and this is fourth rank. Okay, now we're going to get a little bit into how we form up the platoon. So how does a platoon get formed up? So what happens is a commander will say, platoon, fall in. Okay, after you hear the command platoon, fall in, you go to your set places in the platoon. If you do not have set places in the platoon, you just fall in the way the commander asks you to, or you fall in an orderly fashion. You should automatically fall in at a dress right dress, which is demonstrated in my second video, an intro into basic drill. You need to remain an arm distance apart when you're in a squad. And then in reference to the ranks, what you do is you put your arm out in front of you. So you do like a in front dress, right dress, a dress, front dress, I guess you could refer to it. Please don't do that. To make sure that you have that kind of distance as well. You need to have an arm distance from everybody in a typical non-COVID year. And make sure you have your spacing. You align one person behind the other. When you do various drill movements, you have to keep your alignment to the person in front of you and the person to the side of you. Those things are very important when it does come to drill and to being in a platoon and working as a unit. I think I covered the majority of what goes on in a platoon. Now we're going to move on to a squad structure. Squad structure is relatively the same thing, except with a little bit of tweaking. All right, so what we see here is we have a commander, a guidon, and then we have about 12 people, right, in the meat and potatoes of the platoon. Over here, we have a commander, but we don't have all those people, and we don't have a guidon. What's going on? So a squad is anywhere from 4 to whatever number of people you want to have. I think the number is 4 to 7 for a technical squad, even though in practicing and stuff, we may have up to 10, 11 people in a single squad. But typically for competitions, for NS1s, they will have 5 people in a squad. So here's the commander, and here's the squad, okay? Same exact things for movements, except there's just one squad. They are still referred to as first rank, second rank, third rank, fourth rank, and then there's also a fifth rank. Yeah, there isn't really much to squad. It's basically the same thing, except sometimes the movements for squad might be a little bit different. Like for columns, there are specific things that each of these squads have to do. For just one squad, they only have to do one thing, which is a plus. Oftentimes, squad is the favorite of drillers in general, especially for the upperclassmen, because only NS1s are able to participate in drill at NS1 competitions, which is a bittersweet kind of thing. So that is the basis for platoon and squad setup. I feel like there's a little bit of information that I can't remember right now, which is perfectly okay. If you guys have any questions, please reach out to me or reach out to cadet leadership for clarification. But I hope understanding platoon structure might help you a little bit when it comes to drill. So thank you. Y'all have a great rest of your day. Bye.